tournament. I said, do you want to drive with Evans and I back? He says, no, my mom won't let me. I got the ticket. So I told him where Long Beach Jazz Club was, downtown Long Beach. Wonderful club, open every day from 10 in the morning till 10 at night. And it was run by the city, and it had secretaries there. And it was a big deal, you know. And they had band playing in the park outdoors, it was right behind the library. Wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. So I told him all about it and where to go, and he showed up there ahead of us. And he called this friend of mine, and he wanted to play Larry Remlinger. Now Remlinger was a child prodigy. He's in this picture too that I showed you. He was ahead of Fischer. He was already a master. He was like a master when he was 11. And Larry Remlinger, you look him up now. Remlinger didn't play all the time. He said he's playing today. He's about 73, 74 today, and he's about 23 something. And he still plays all the time in that line. But he had big gaps in his career. We'd quit for 10 years and come back, you know. And he wrote a long article. He's an IM, and he wrote an article how I thought it'd be easy for him to become an IM, you know, when he came back. But he wrote this article how he finally captured the title. Well, Fischer's big thing was to prove he was the best junior, you know, and he wanted to get his hands on Remlinger, which is natural because those are the two best, most talented players. So they were in the park there, and we got them together, and they didn't play with the clock, but they played almost move on move. Neither one wanted to play slower than the other. It was hard to follow them because their moves so fast. But they had one long session the first day, and Remlinger, I'm not sure on the count, but Remlinger either broke even or he was a point ahead of it. Well, that's close as he got because they played the next day. They had two sessions, and Fischer just beat him by maybe 7 or 8 games second session and just trounced him the third session. So he pulled away, you know, from Remlinger. It was a great talent, great talent. And so those were probably the two best juniors in the country. Bobby hung around there, and he went up to play in the U.S. Junior in San Francisco after this little soiree in the park. He won the junior championship in San Francisco. Still didn't lose a game now over the summer, except that one game in Milwaukee. And a carload of guys was forming from the mechanics to go to play in the U.S. Open in Cleveland. And Addison went, and of course Evans and Biscar, a lot of these big shots, you know, grandmasters, were all assembling for the National Open. Well, a carload of them drove there from San Francisco with Addison driving, and a car, Gil Ramirez and a bunch of junior players were with him. And the mechanics, I think, paid some money for gas and stuff to get him over to the tournament. Well, of course, a long trip like that, Fischer got in a fight with one of the junior chess players, and still carried the bite marks on his arm, or the guy he bit one of the other players. This guy shows off the Fischer bite marks on his arm. He still has. A fellow here went with me. He was a top Persian player, and
looks like Bobby Sherman.
yeah, he was a real handsome guy, and he'd sing, talk. He was single. He was electrical engineer. He had plenty of money, and he was a crazy chess player. He loved to play chess. He was a strong expert, never quite made master. But he was yet to meet Bobby at this point. So this fellow, Taraj Saidi, and I, and Tarzan and somebody else, we drove up to Seattle. And I had the best tournament of my life. I had played in many tournaments, and 8-4 was the score I was always trying for. You know, 8-4 was a good score. It's the first score I had when I was a kid. So I thought, well, if I get 8-4, well, after this round, this tournament was 13 rounds, not 12. So at the end of 12 rounds, I had 8.5 points. And I thought, I want this tournament to be over with. It's the best score I ever had. I don't want to play any more games. And so I had to play the next game, and I played Anthony Sadie, an IM who was at 9 points, and he dropped down to play me because he played by the other people. So we were getting ready to start, and I was on board 4, and it was on a stage thing, and people were all at their boards to get ready. And Koldasky was the tournament director. Koldasky did not like Sadie. They had had some arguments over tournaments, and so Koldasky, it's an odd round, we were going to flip a coin to see who had white. So Koldasky's standing there, and he comes up and he says, "You take white."
Really?
Yeah, he just says, "You take white." He liked me, he didn't like Sadie, you know. So, oh, all right, I can use white in the last round. So I'm taking the white, and he says, "It's time to start his clock." And he walked off. And then he got the microphone, and he told the other people to start the clock, so I had a couple of minutes on it. So Sadie comes in late, about 12 minutes late, and I won the game of my life in the last round against Sadie. He played the Dutch, and I played a very unusual game, and they published it all over as the game of a lifetime for me, and I had this unheard of score for me. I didn't finish it up there with those guys. I had 9.5. never dreamed I could get that many points, you know. But, and also my friend did very well, the Persian guy, Raj, he won the expert prize, around the highest score in the expert section. So that carload of us got up there was pretty good. Tarzan was just a young kid, he wasn't grandmaster yet. He also had a good score, so the car had a good score going up there. And so I came back after the tournament was over. I went to the Miramar Hotel. The tournament was over, and I had phoned Miss Piatigorsky, and she says, I said, "Where's Bobby?" And she says, "He's still in the damn hotel." She said, "He's running up a bill. Everybody in town is gone, because I've been gone for 2 weeks." She says, "Do you see if you can get him out of there?" She says, "I'll pay for I'll pay for an apartment, anything. Just get him out of the damn hotel." So I went up, and sure enough, Bobby was there, and he was ordering lunch, and he asked me what I wanted, and so it was room service, and so I showed him my game with Sadie, the game I was so proud of, it best game I ever played, and he thought it was a really good game too. He complimented, he liked the game, and he wanted to go for a walk. He's great for walking. I'd go walks with him. He had such a big step, you know. It was hard to keep up with him, you know what I mean? He was really a fast walker, and he liked to walk and do exercise things, you know, the table tennis or go